I totally forgot how to start these. Another episode of On the Rocks. This time, we're shooting at Marsa. They graciously gave me this room.
New venue.
New venue. Because
Looking
the other
good.
one, the other one caved in on itself.
Too low below ground.
Yeah, no, the ceiling actually
Ceiling.
fell. My 8th guest is Nic Bonello. He is Malta's prime pole vaulter. He just broke national record last week, or the week before, I think last week. With a jump of 485.
Yes.
The history of pole vault in Malta has been super abysmal.
Yes. Not much to it.
Not much to it. I don't even remember the records before any of them were yours.
Yeah, there was. You want to just go into it, or are you gonna?
No, what was the last record before you broke it?
The open was 425.
425, and now we went up 60 centimeters above that. That's big.
In 2000.
That's big. In
the year 2000.
In the year 2000
Yeah.
it was, so it's 24 years old as well.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Nick came to the sport of athletics 2-3 years ago.
My 4th season.
This is your fourth year.
Season.
Okay, you see?
Yeah.
Time is flying by.
Flying.
And before that he was a gymnast. And I just want to know, we know a lot about each other, but we don't know much.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, what started you in gymnastics? Like, what got you into sport? What started you with sport?
So, in year one, I started doing football.
Okay, the usual.
As everyone does.
The usual.
Which I turned out not to be very great at.
Okay.
So, like, I just used to end up running behind the ball, running after the football. And then after a year, I'm like, I'm done, So, then at home, just on the sofa, upside down, just doing random stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's try gymnastics. Like,
Okay.
So I started gymnastics at like 8 in year 2.
Okay.
So late-ish for gymnastics, I guess.
Yes,
But
we
to have a profession in the sport,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
late,
yeah.
But most people,
Mm-hmm.
But
I started out with gymnastics.
I did not know this.
Yeah, I started gymnastics about the age of 6, and the only reason I went is because my dad believed in the fundamentals of sport being within gymnastics.
For sure. 100%.
I don't know anything about like your career in gymnastics. You were competitive or not really?
No,
There's
not competitive. In Malta, you can't be. For men, you can't be competitive.
Okay.
Like in our club, we were 2 guys, me and like my best friend. We used to train together. Then, when I was 13, first competition, just nationals, me versus him.
Okay. I get
Then other people come. They're younger. You know, so there is a good group of guys in gymnastics.
Now
it's just not very competitive, but they're good. But it's not. In Malta, they don't push for we want to get a good team of males.
Okay.
It's more just for fun and to improve yourself and to improve, as you said.
The level.
But the inherent ability, because everything builds on gymnastics, I think.
Yes.
Everything.
For sure.
So you start in gymnastics, you can go anywhere.
For sure. When I was still training track, one thing I noticed and something that I gained from gymnastics was the ability to fall.
Yeah, awareness.
Without getting
like knowing where your body is.
And knowing where you're gonna land. And I think that's what's important for a lot of athletes right now. Because me coaching the younger ones, their greatest fear is falling. They fall over the hurdle, they fall badly, and they break something and they freak out.
Yeah.
And I know I have a lot of girls who, obviously, most of the girls I coach, their background is in gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
The boys' background is almost always football or, I don't know, maybe basketball. I had a few who had started out with basketball. And the boys have a less fear of falling. Less fear of falling. Because I think
because it's contact sport, I guess.
Because they're used to contact. And the girls tend to be a little bit more careful and whatever.
I can't get hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get
and
it.
they're thinking about keeping their nails nice and clean and all this shit.
So you don't have any athletes that just starting out with athletics? Or few?
I have a few. I have a few. I have maybe
But I
3.
think I had like everyone's
Maybe 3 or 4.
now there are a number of people like just they started out with athletics and
Yeah.
have been there for a while.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think
yeah.
there are so many athletes that started on another sport and then came into athletics.
In most of our main Graham, I'm not sure about.
Graham.
I'm not sure what he was doing before he was doing
athletics.
track, because I only know him within track. I know Jeremy used to play basketball.
Yes, and he still did for quite a
and
while.
he still did for a long time.
Like I think till he was still in Malta.
Yes.
He was still playing basketball. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah.
In US, but
No.
I mean,
In the US, they tend to, once they realize
then you're in
where you
sport,
fit in, after college, like within college, they let you fool around a little bit, but once you enter like your senior year or like your later years in college, they're like,
they want you to focus, I guess.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have
know
to
the
focus
details on, but
yeah. It's a good thing as well, because I know it helped Jeremy a lot.
for sure. I think having variety in training is really important.
Yes, no, it's super important.
And
it's
so
super
going into a completely different sport helps a lot.
Well, we realized it in Formia a lot.
Yes,
and it gave me a huge eye opener.
Everyone, all the guys playing basketball,
Exactly, playing
tennis,
basketball, tennis,
padel.
volleyball, padel, and all these things. But it was all the pole vaulters.
Yeah, the pole vaulters.
It was
EJ,
Bokai,
Hussein,
and Thiago,
and Vitaly playing
and
with them.
Vitaly playing with them. It's a fun way of keeping athletes interested.
Yeah, they warm up. They're like sometimes
it's a
there's like warm up basketball.
That's the best thing.
And to keep the team together as well, it's
yes.
nice.
Because this sometimes the staleness of athletics really gets to you.
That's like apart from the football, my football zone,
Yeah.
and the gymnastics, obviously because of my dad.
Yeah.
I used to come do athletics. I don't know what age I used to do athletics, but then at one point I'm like, I just got fed up. I'm always running.
Really?
It's the same thing.
So
I just keep running in a straight line. It's not interesting. And then you go to gymnastics and you have vault, you have the bars. It's so interesting. Every week you have a new thing. So
that's true.
So at that age, I was really, I want this. I want to try everything.
Mhm.
So I got bored with athletics at the time, and Phil thought when my dad's like, there's an openness in pole vault. There's no one.
Yeah.
You do gymnastics. Like, okay, because it's different.
Yes.
It
most.
seems interesting.
It's the most
me.
non-athletics event there is. It is very, very unique compared to the other events.
Most unique. Like it's the most non-athletic event.
It is.
Non-athletics event.
Yes, it is. It's the
event.
most it requires the most specific skills and the most specific strength.
And so many aspects to it.
Yes, as well,
Like,
which I could not grasp. Which I could not grasp.
But even at the time, I'm like, okay, but I'll do pole vault, and I don't want to go. I don't want to do running.
No,
I just want to pole vault.
And now he's getting you to do
And
hurdles.
now I love everything hurdles, long jump. I love
That's
running
good.
now.
That's
Then
good.
once
that's
you get
good.
into it, now I love it. But when
That's
I was
good.
young, I didn't like it. Which
Mi bil-kontra.
you loved it at the start.
I loved it when I was younger because I used to do absolutely everything. When I was a kid, when I was the age of my athletes now, I remember, I was just telling them yesterday the events that I competed in when I was young. I used to do from A to Z. I used to go all the throws, all the jumps, all the runs, long distance runs, cross country, hurdles, like you name it. And the diversity of the sport kept me into the sport. Then at the end, right before I stopped, I think I was starting to realize that my level of my ability was becoming more limited. I was getting a lot of injuries.
I remember. That's like first memory I have of you. I think when you had
when I broke
your arm.
When I broke my elbow over the
during COVID. I think we were still training in the back.
It was 2021.
Because I didn't know you before that.
It was right when we came back, and I fell over the hurdle, and it was bad. It was very.
I remember this.
It was bad, and these types of things really deterred me from continuing training, because every time it was something new or something old that kept cropping up.
Even when you started pole vault.
Even when I started pole vault, I was struggling a lot with my shoulder.
Yeah,
obviously, both shoulders. Even the right one came out for me once, and my foot. Oh, my feet just couldn't handle any impact. After I stopped hurdles, that was it. I couldn't handle the impact, of
from
landing
that.
anymore.
But you focused in on hurdles at one point.
I was super focused in on
Uh-huh.
hurdles. I remember when they were building up the track, and all of us ended up moving to SAC for like
Because
for
yeah.
a few months.
Like COVID plus the track
As
was
that,
being built.
COVID, the track was being built, and then COVID was over. The track was still not done, and
so we're
like
just using warm up. You can't do it.
exactly only
like,
using the warm
there's
up
only
and
an
all
amount
these
you
things. There's only so
we
much
set up
you
a
can
pole
do.
vault mat over there.
I remember that. I remember. I totally forgot you set up the pole vault there.
There's still the hole for the pole to go in.
How
full of
funny.
water, full of rust now.
Love it. Perfect environment. And training at SAC was bad. Training at SAC was.
I think it's a harder track as well.
Yes,
No?
bro. It was super. I don't want to say that like
No,
I can blame something on some injuries, or I can blame something on a reason why it started to become more difficult. But training at SAC
when you're not used to it,
really made it difficult for me to want to keep training, because it was so heavy on my body. My hamstring. I tore my hamstring there, first of all. I felt every single impact when it came to hurdles through my whole leg. And I remember we were going to go to CSSC, to Championships of Small States.
Yeah.
And there was... What? Okay, I looked at you and you were as if you were going to tell me something.
Fed behind the scenes.
Studying. Okay. We were preparing for CSSC, and I felt like I had a good chance at going for hurdles.
It was in San Marino, this one, I think, yes? Or no?
Yes, of San Marino. I forgot what year. And I was feeling a real lot of pressure, because I really, really, really wanted to go. And I remember one session, after 2 weeks of being out, I was sick or something happened. For 2 weeks, I didn't train. And I did this split 400 session of two sets of 200s with hurdles.
Yeah.
And I stopped halfway. I broke down crying, and I told my dad, I'm done. I can't. We're trying to get me to CSSC to finally actually represent Malta. And after that session, I was like, I can't anymore. I can't. This year is done. I quit. I was so unable to push myself to the limit at that point, and I just gave up. But I kept doing hurdles. I broke another record the next year.
And in the 4?
In the 4, under 23. And then what happened? I had a bunch of sessions where I just couldn't take the impact anymore. My feet were hurting. My knees were hurting.
And then you just...
Then I gave up.
Motivation's a bit low.
Then
you
also,
wanted, but at the same time, it's like, I'm
yes,
working.
yes.
And it's not coming.
Also, I went to Glasgow
and
tried to train in Glasgow, but it didn't last very long. I was having very good sessions. I was running good times. I was timing my own 60s. I could sprint, but then the weather changed, and just the lifestyle over there just
it's different, I guess.
I just stopped wanting to train. Then when I came back, I was almost 80 kilos. When I was 74 kilos before I went to Glasgow, I gained a real lot of weight. And I came back. My dad noticed that like I wasn't training, I wasn't doing anything, and already I was thinking that season would not give me anything. I tried to do the 300.
And that's when you started.
And then I started.
Then you started pole vault.
I started pole vault, like more seriously.
Because
I was doing pole vault before I went to Glasgow.
Yeah, you had like one competition, I think.
I did one competition, and that was it.
No, you hadn't jumped 3 yet.
I hadn't jumped 3 yet. I jumped 280.
No, you got
325.
325.
I can say I ended with 325. But
I think that's something like when you focus.
Pole vault kept me in the
That's
sport.
what I think that when you focus too much on one event.
Yes,
you start mentally you're too much into it, and if you don't get the results you want, you're gonna break down more. But also, like, I see these young ones, they're focusing on this event straight away.
Yes.
It's like it's
not
hard to
gonna
last.
work like it's not gonna work.
It's
like
hard
that.
to last.
It's not gonna work like that. That's why this youth meet thing that
I
they did, I liked a lot.
Especially with the pole vault. I
I
enjoy seeing people.
Oh, it was difficult to coach.
Sure.
I'm glad that they tried to incorporate it as well, because at the end of the day, that's the reason why we never had someone
do pole
vault, because
javelin.
they're not exposed to it.
With so little javelin.
Javelin.
But it's as such,
javelin.
pole vault should be like we should have less pole vault than we have javelin. If you think about it, like you think more people would go to javelin because it's it's not simple, but you know.
But it is.
You know what I mean?
Less.
There are more aspects.
Yes.
To the pole vault.
Yes, for sure.
Saying anything.
For sure.
You know, but
all the javelin throwers are going to come
like
up here
javelin
against
throwers.
Mad office. Mike Bradley.
Looking at you.
But it's true. Back in the day when I feel like there is a huge difference between the young ones of my day and the young ones now. When I was youth, when I was cadet, man, we didn't have like events where there were two people.
You used
running.
to do everything.
Everyone would do everything. Omar and Jacob used to do hurdles.
Right.
I was doing hurdles,
But
like 300
good.
hurdles.
Like I get what now everyone wants to focus. You know, everyone wants the best result, which makes sense. I get it.
Yes, no, it does make sense.
And you have the records of the age groups.
Yes.
So obviously everyone wants to reach it.
Yes.
But like I'm training pole vault.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I train hurdles. I'm training long jump.
Yes.
Even if I'm not competing it, you know, it helps for pole vault.
Yes.
But also it's a variety of different things to keep you interested in all these events in athletics
and not mentally fatigued.
Exactly. Plus it helps on the body. Like doing hurdles, it's not the exact same thing as pole vault, but it's a takeoff. You're staying tall, so it might not help directly, but it will help in the long run. I know. Philip, EJ's dad.
Yeah.
I met him in Formia when I was there. He has an athlete who does pole vault, and I was talking to him, and he was saying he had reached a block in pole vault. Like year after year, he wasn't improving personal best, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna start decathlon. Because in Philippines there's a really good like environment for decathlon, like people, and he started training. Like he left pole vault to the side and he started training hurdles, throws, distance. Came back to pole vault,
improved. It's true.
So
I can
this
see
variety
why as well.
I think is really important.
I can see why as well. What I noticed as well is sometimes, I would come for a session of consistent sessions of pole vault, not show up for like 2 weeks, let's say there's something, come back and I feel much better. Like technically, I would feel like I had improved over these 2 weeks. It's also because the mental fatigue that you get from pole vault is not like other events, because you have to think about so many things in a split second that your brain fatigues and tires really quickly. And what we're studying now a lot more when it comes to coaching is the importance of nervous system recovery. I remember sessions sometimes Janet used to take days, even a week to recover the nervous system enough that she will be able to do the same session she did 2 weeks ago. Because you work your brain so hard on doing one thing so repetitively, like EJ's dad, that then you have to branch out to work your brain in a different way so that it can go back to working as it was and better. It's decathlon is
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I'm glad I tried, but I didn't try for very long. I think I tried all the throws. I already had fundamentals in. All the jumps I had fundamentals in. All the sprints, not a problem. But then 110 hurdles was my limitation. Was by a mile my limitation. And I even tried.
And pole vault at the time, I guess.
Pole vault. No,
but
I was. Look, me, my dad, and Jivko were debating doing decathlon while I was jumping
so
325.
Already started.
Yes, while I was jumping.
Have we ever had someone in Malta attempted that?
No. And I know there's only one person who can do it for sure, and would be European class. Bradley.
Very
easily.
But like,
Bradley.
other problems though.
Yes, I
Injuries.
mean, you
Like,
can
as an athlete, he would
injuries,
be
yes, no. I mean,
Bradley class athlete.
he's
though.
he's class, and it's also you. Sometimes you need a kick. You need someone who's gonna really motivate you to really go and do it.
Yeah.
And I think he
It's the injury.
wasn't-
I mean, that's the
yes,
That's the
injury,
problem.
The elbow
'Cause
limited him
that's the limitation.
as well.
Because he's.
But then I think he wasn't so interested in doing
yeah.
decathlon either.
I think decathlon,
But then
especially in Malta.
If
Not that something about,
yeah.
but where we don't have professional
No,
athletes
no,
like
no, no,
Janet.
no,
Janet
no,
is
no. Janet was the only one.
and is she still or I don't
No,
know.
now she's doing.
So
she's doing her
Janet
masters.
was our only
As that was the only one
professional athlete.
who had that experience for a year, 2 years.
So for decathlon where you have so many events,
No,
so little time,
Impossible.
it's hard. So
Impossible.
so might
You'll
as
end
well
up-
focus on what
Exactly.
that's one event.
You'll end up having like double sessions and 3-hour sessions like every day. It's too much. It's
hard.
too much. It's too much. To be competitive, and not
And
only
you want
that,
to be competitive. At the
Not
end of
on-
the day, you want to be competitive.
not only that you have to have the time. You can't even compete it in Malta.
Yeah.
You will have to go abroad. There's no doubt that you will have to go abroad. So,
But I'm waiting for the day that this happens.
what?
Someone competes.
That we see some.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to. I mean, there are some people. Look,
with
girls.
this younger system of the what it called
of the youth
Of the
meets.
youth
Yes,
meets.
yes.
It's
definitely.
already building
It's
up to
already
something like
building
that.
something.
And even if not
Mhm.
decathlon, you get to see. Oh,
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
good at that. I'm good at that. Pole vault, I didn't know. I never tried it.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
exactly.
And maybe we'll go into
yes,
it.
it's true. A lot of my girls that when they were trying the pole vault, they were like, "Coach, can I do pole vault next time? Coach, can I do javelin this year?" And It's true. There was what's his name, Nicolò, the Italian thrower coach. I think-
Nicola. No,
Ni-
I don't.
Yes, Nicola.
I don't. Yeah.
Yes, I think
Nicola. How what Nicola?
Exactly.
Nicola.
Exactly. He was there watching the throws,
Yeah.
and he was seeing one of my athletes, and he said, "Listen, what event is she doing?" I said, "She's doing long jump and sprints." And he told me, "No."
No.
I was like, "Okay, why? What should she be doing?" And he was watching her do shot put. He said, "She will be a fantastic shot putter. She has natural explosiveness from the arm and leg power, and you get to see them in an environment where they're not used to, and you can finally have some form of talent identification, and you
Exactly.
stream them into the events like
And
that too."
before everyone goes into 100 meters,
As that,
maybe 2,
as that,
make
as
it
that,
interesting.
as that. Check.
And then long jump. Oh, if you're good at jumps, you go long jump, maybe triple.
As
Make it
that.
interesting.
High jumpers for high
High jump.
jumpers.
High jump.
Forget.
Again, more pole vaulters than we have high jumpers at this point.
That's true. That's very true. That's so weird. That's so weird.
But there's
That's very strange to think about.
strange.
It's very strange. You want one?
We crack one open.
Yeah, let's crack. Let's crack one open.
ASMR.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers, Nick, as well.
Ready.
To On the Rocks.
On the rocks.
Back in 2024. It's much stronger than I remember. It wasn't as strong yesterday. Yes, we
Yes.
were not intoxicated.
I was not present.
You were not present. Should have been. Should have been. You were. All we were talking about was Musa.
It's true.
Let's get into Musa.
Sure.
So, for those that don't know,
Product placement.
huh?
Product placement.
So, for those that are unaware, Nick and I and Fedi have started a student organization. We have named it Musa, which stands for Malta University Sports Association.
MUSA.
And our aim and plan of action is to provide support for student athletes and
grow the community of sports in Unio at
and
the end of the day.
improve exactly the presence of sports on campus. And for next year, when we will send a bunch of athletes to the FISU Games in Dusseldorf. So this is for any sponsors. If you want to give us money for the FISU games.
University games.
What are, FISU games. They're university games.
Yeah. Last time Malta sent
was...
Well, I don't know when, but it hasn't recently, last edition or two, I think.
2017.
Yeah, that we haven't gone.
I think 2017. 2017, and it was in South Korea.
Yeah, and we want to bring that back.
Can you imagine going to South Korea
to represent Malta
and to represent Malta and not going to somewhere like Napoli?
Yeah,
you know what happened? You know what happened in Napoli? I just found out. I was speaking to someone. I will not say names. I was speaking to someone, and they planned everything for 2021 Napoli. And they sent journalists, they sent news reporters, they sent even some officials who were gonna go speak like at press conferences and stuff, and they forgot to register athletes and forgot to send a team to compete. So there's all these Maltese professionals and journalists and,
that are looking into
and
it,
reporters that are looking into FISU. They spent a real lot of money to send them.
And
there's
nothing
no
happened.
Maltese representatives. There's nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on. Can you imagine how it's so embarrassing? It's so embarrassing.
No, we need to make this happen.
No,
next year it will happen.
We are going to make it happen. Now my exams are over in like 2 weeks. And I'm done for the whole summer. This summer, man, I'm calling every professional under the sun.
Yeah.
And we'll try and really, really push it. But because it's honest, something we really need.
Looking at FISU, at the end of the day, you're just going to send like 20 athletes, let's say. Maybe, like, give or take.
Yeah.
So, but having that representation, knowing at uni, we have these... the qualified athletes, let's say the better athletes that are going to this event, they're coping with uni and they're still training, not only still training, but at this level.
Exactly.
So like, why am I at sixth form? I used to play basketball, for example. I know so many people. They have the mentality that you go into sixth form and you stop. Then you need to study. Then you go into uni even more. The few that stayed training in sixth form. Stop,
It's true. Me and my dad were talking about it.
I think that's a problem that we have in Malta. That people think that okay, it's good. You need to focus on the academics, but at the end of the day, it's not just academics, and you go crazy. Just academics. You have to have a hobby, even if you're looking at sports as just a hobby. That's how I see it.
I feel like even. Sports is a little bit underestimated in the sense of what careers you can get from it. There's so many things that that a sports organization might need from a professional, and there's so many things that any individual can do. Character-wise,
I think sport builds you up.
Of course, yes, obviously, for sure.
If I'm studying,
that's all I've been studying for like 3 years.
If I'm studying. And not only studying, but I'm managing to cope with this sport, which is another whole thing. That's for an employer, for example. I think that's a huge thing to look at the person.
For sure.
You can this time management. I think it's a huge thing.
Look, what comes to mind and is probably the biggest issue when it comes to keeping people in sport as they get out of secondary school. In secondary school, now, we have to have PE lessons. You have to have a certain amount of hours during the week that have to be allocated to PE lessons at some point in time, whether it's break or whether it's a lesson. Once people go to sixth form, unless you go to SAC or De La Salle, there's no more compulsory PE. It doesn't exist anymore. And in my experience as well, JC didn't make it particularly easy to remain doing something. It's not easy at all.
No,
to tell them, Isma, can I get a racket and a ball and I go and play? No. You barely even find them. You don't even know where their offices are most of the time. The only cool thing I remember happening at JC was the rowing championship.
No, I don't know.
And we had a rowing championship in canteen.
It's cool though.
Like, it's really cool. It's in front of everyone, man. a rowing championship, everyone's we all buzz, yeah.
It's
You know,
fun, yeah.
I accidentally won, like just saying.
Accidentally.
I didn't hustle at all, and that's the only time when I felt like a sixth form. Obviously, in my experience, it was JC.
Of course, yeah.
Sorry. A sixth form did something to promote sport and to make them active, because they were almost always doing
Football.
five-a-side.
Yeah.
Much five-a-side. And even the
Which
gym.
is good. Well, like,
Yes,
it's a good thing.
Yes,
but
it's good.
It's not the only thing.
It's not the only thing. The gym, sometimes the gym wasn't open. You couldn't go and play basketball. And we used to love going to play basketball. I'll buzz, we'll go and play basketball, shoot some hoops. At times, there's like 40 people inside the gym shooting hoops. But the other times, when there were a few people, other than that, it's locked. It's closed. There's not accessible. You can't find a ball unless you get your own, and things like this.
No, I think this is sport is something that needs to be encouraged very much from the school.
So even us as Musa, even though we are university based, I think we do need to trickle down into government. At least we do something in
Eventually,
JC.
yeah.
At least we do something in JC. We make some sort of like first years versus second years thing, or first years have their own league, second years have their own league, and they play all different sports and they make a league and all these things, because then the continuity of
exactly.
it,
You
when
can't
they
stop.
come to
You can't stop in sixth form.
no, you can't
And
stop
then
in sixth
you
form.
can, but it's harder. You know, it's you.
I feel like sixth form was a really big pause when
In
it came
sport.
to sport, because I'm in a sport course,
Yeah.
so I see a big difference. But in your perspective, do you agree with me?
Yeah. To be honest, uni
Essentially,
sport in uni.
uni.
De La Salle, yeah, I think De La Salle had more sport in it than uni at that point. Obviously, I'm not in
even
sports.
Freddy agrees.
Yeah.
Freddy was even playing five-a-sides.
So.
Man, gold diggers.
There's league at De La Salle. There's the league
Exato.
every week. They play football. So
But when you were there,
yeah.
was it still going on to the extent that
Yeah.
you think, because your years when they were doing the five-a-sides, they were really
Big
like,
about it.
a lot
Yeah. It was a big deal.
it was a big deal.
It
was
stopped
still-
for us. First year it wasn't there because of COVID.
Okay, fine.
But second year it started again.
It started again. It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Okay, at least.
Yeah, they have
Exact.
even sports.
You see, man, there isn't
even
this shit.
they have not only the football league but even different games, like
Different
they have
sports.
volleyball between the, because
Yeah.
you have the houses in De La Salle, they have the houses, the colors.
You see.
So you have the league between the houses of volleyball, football, basketball. That's a good thing. I think I really like that about
the
it.
only thing I remember,
Yeah, even PE as a
yeah, you have a compulsory PE.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have.
which doesn't push it on you. Like if you don't want to do anything, like you can stay there just. But at least you see the
At
people
least
doing something.
There's people doing something.
Because I think
you
also
know.
pushing sport onto someone who doesn't want to do it isn't a good thing.
But that's where my long essay title comes in.
Go on.
I'll go ahead because now it's submitted. My study was about how to use alternative teaching model called sport education model to increase participation. And back in Glasgow, this was one of my assignments. I was working with two other students. What sport we decided on, which was basketball, and how we can use basketball to increase participation for people of all levels. So we said that we make a league, a house league, for example, similar to De La Salle, and those that do not participate or feel that their level is not the same as the ones that do normally participate will have alternative roles. So there will be roles like coaching, there will be roles like refereeing, there will be roles like being fan chanting, poster making, newspaper making, commentary, and things like that.
I think once you have a community, that's the thing.
That's the
like
thing.
even if I'm not the one doing the sport, like at uni there's
Exactly.
the faculty games or faculty cup.
There's faculty cup.
So even if I'm not gonna go play football, I want to go support like the team, my community, you know, which I think that's a good thing already.
Look, I like the faculty cup, I like the faculty cup, but I feel like there needs to be a little bit more to keep it on campus and make it more accessible as well.
To be I didn't have experience with it this year, for example. Like
no.
I knew about it, but I didn't. I don't know how it worked.
Because I know that there are people who are active on campus, but like I don't know if you know, but you can rent the basketball court of Sports Hall for free. You
for free.
Have to rent it.
So, even the football areas,
even
the
football
you can rent
area,
them for free.
You can rent them for free. The only reason that people don't is because A, it's so hard to find parking around campus, and B, because it's so far off campus as well. And we're lazy as hell. We don't want to walk like 2 minutes just to get down the hill, which sucks. But
I think like I might know about it, but I'm sure most people don't.
I'm sure most people don't know about it. I'm sure most people
like
don't
maybe
know about
some orgs know about it because they have organized some football
they organize
sometime
something there and whatever.
But no,
but it's not of high importance. It's not known, and I only know like 2 groups and foreigners. And the Erasmus students go like constant. They're always in the gym. When between like 12 and 2, that's usually the time when we don't really have anything. Boom, there they are.
Sure.
You know. So I have a lot. We have a lot of ideas. On how Musa can make a difference. And yesterday or the day before, I don't know when. The last time I was at uni, we were walking by the benches where I told you I want to make something there. You know how big the area is? It's huge, man. It's like at least 80 meters. And in my mind, I was picturing making the 3x3 court and a beach volley court.
They've done volley like a few weeks ago. They did volleyball in quad. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes,
in quad,
I know.
Which is
I don't
I
know
enjoy
if it was
it,
my
like,
students.
I don't know. But seeing something like that, I like
my
it.
Classmates or something.
Seeing something like that, I think it's a really good incentive.
But I'll be honest, sometimes I cringe when I see them do these, because we have I forgot what they're called, but they're like alternative sports,
like with the tramp and the ball,
exactly,
and stuff.
spike ball
Spike
and
ball.
chook ball and all these different games and stuff. Sometimes I cringe with it because the way they present it and the way they get people to come and do it is not good enough. You need to present it to them way better for them to be more interested in it. And even the certain games that they put, like chook ball, man, like people, if you don't know how to play it, like
it's hard. Okay.
It can be a really interesting game. Just like everyone thinks netball is super boring. When we were doing netball,
fake basketball,
exactly. We were like, we love netball, way. But then you see videos of people playing netball, and they're fast and it's quick movements and whatever. So sometimes when you introduce a game,
you need to be a bit simpler. Maybe. Needs to be a bit simpler.
Not only a bit simpler, but the skills need to be closer to what they know.
Yeah, I get it.
And what they can do. And like chook ball, most of the time they don't know how to really bounce it and whatever. So you just see them go. And just the ball just goes everywhere. And you end up spending half an hour chasing the ball and trying to do something and missing most of the time. The ball gets stuck under the thing, which is the most annoying thing to happen. Like,
I think at the end of the day, it's like you have the idea you want to do something. Maybe execution isn't the best, but at the end of the day, you try to do something, and I admire that.
That's why I can't wait for when we start getting the opportunity to organize some stuff on
next
quad
year.
And
this
campus.
year we figured everything out. Now next year we come.
So now on the 23rd of June, where there's that MOC run on Ring Road.
Yeah, they're doing it. Okay.
We got.
It's nice. Yeah.
I was speaking to someone and he offered us the opportunity to help.
To help, yes.
So I think that's our next plan of
action.
We try to get some members. We go. It's on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday, but we go and we help and we just at least expose ourselves and expose ourselves to the MOC. Because I think I'm quite sure that the MOC is interested.
For sure.
So, that's what's next for Musa. And it's something we need, especially with the shit that happened with the last association.
Yeah. Going back to what we said of like in having the representation in the schools, for example. Like half the people, half the La Salle athletes that came from like De La Salle.
Yeah.
Year 4 to Form 1, Gino Mallia.
Aywa, El King.
All of them, like in break, he sees they're interested from sports. He was PE teacher, interested from sports. You're interested? Come train in the break. Come with me. I'm telling you, 95% of them, or including me, we used to go train with him in the break, and that's how it started. So when you push it in the schools, it's really encourages.
In schools,
big
man,
thing.
all you need sometimes is one character. Because I remember Gino, and he was a crazy character, and he was a really strong character.
Yeah. And he loves the sport. You need to love the sport at the end of the day.
He used to drive me crazy, man. Because you have no idea the fear I used to get when we used to see kids in the blue De La Salle kit, man. They always come. The meeting before nationals and on nationals, and you're swearing, man, and shitting your pants and saying, "Oh lallo." For example, for me, it was always Jordan Kelly.
Yeah.
Jordan Kelly is gonna come and kick our ass, man. That's it. But you know, there isn't that anymore.
No, it's exactly. You see, there's the group. Maybe there were a few like 2 years older than me, maybe. Then it goes down to the 06s, like Julian Zarp, Carlos Soler. Maybe a few more trickle down at some point, but then it stops because then it didn't keep going.
It's how
right
much
now. I think Gino is retired now. He's not at De La Salle anymore. He's not the PE teacher. So there isn't someone there now.
This is the biggest problem, and this is what I was working a lot on my study. I did interviews with teachers, and a few of them pointed out that what we're discussing, this is in the model that I was studying, which is the sport education model. There's 10 objectives.
Yeah.
The 10th objective is to get children to be active outside of school, extracurricular.
Yes.
And the teachers I interviewed said that the 10th objective, although it might be the most important, is not their responsibility. When you have that kind of attitude on what is something that is very important, what keeps kids in sport, and what is what we're talking about most of the time that comes from Sport Malta and MOC and Athletics Malta and all the other associations of any sport. They want young ones to feel like they can enter the sport, they stay in the sport for as long as possible and contribute back to the sport. The only reason that it's not working anymore is because we don't have characters like Gino. I remember as a kid, Gino, I used to be scared of him. I never spoke to him. But now looking back, when you can really appreciate someone's passion for the sport,
yes, for sure,
you say like, this is what you need in schools. You need someone who says, you, after school or break,
come today.
Come and train.
Come, let's try.
And that's it. Punto e basta, and there's no more discussion. And you give a firm hand, and bro.
Well, it was a nice group.
And
like we used to enjoy it.
With
we
good
used to
athletes.
enjoy it.
You come out with really good athletes. There was Caciottolo as well.
Yes.
He was a crazy long jumper. He had 640. I was like, brother, that's insane. Insane result. At his age, he was 15. 14, 15.
Crazy.
You know, even Jordan Kelly was a really good sprinter. Fine, he stayed playing football.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yes.
As when you see what comes from this talent acquisition, from he plays football, he can run for like half an hour, no problem. That's why most of the middle distance runners, like the ones that running 1.5 and 3K, they come from a background of football. Back when I was when I was competing at that age. But there aren't so many participants anymore. Today nationals, they have 230 participants. I remember, man, we used to be not 200, hundreds, man. We were like 400 people competing. Heats of the 100, we used to have 8 heats, man. 6 to 8 heats of 13-year-olds running the 100. Now there's only 3 or 4.
So,
You know what I mean? Something happened a few years ago that really,
I think
stop
there
pushing it.
are more people that take it seriously now rather than a larger number of people.
That is a good point. That
At a younger age, taking it more seriously at a younger age, I think.
That's true. That
Like,
I think
I
is
used to
true.
come to Marsa. I wouldn't train. As I told you, I used to do gymnastics at that point. But he used to drag me, my dad used to drag me down to Marsa. He's like, come for triangular meeting. Go to long jump.
Those were good, man. Triangular meetings.
Yeah.
I miss triangular meetings. Those were the best. You get to compete in a different stadium. Go to Gozo to compete.
It's interesting. It makes it a bit more interesting.
It's fun. I miss that.
Come down Sundays, I think, with what used to be for the cross country. You go to the rugby.
No.
I did train. I just go. I'm not coming next week. I go next week. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't used to
Oh my
train.
god.
I just go for. I'm not coming next week. I'm not.
No.
And then next week I'm there again.
No, not again.
Please,
not again. Not again.
I used to even the road like there was one I remember. There was some competition. Not a competition, like a road
Fun
race.
run.
Yeah, fun run. It's like 2K or something.
Exact.
And then there was some diversion at some point. Like the road that they tossed, we had to go through was closed. So they pushed us somewhere else. From 2K, 5K or something.
5K a Liberic, man.
And I'm like, I'm going. I'm like, oh, I think I'm soon there.
I'm first.
I'm soon there.
I'm first. There's no one around me.
I just keeps going.
I love that your dad and my dad used to put us through the exact same experiences. Because I used to do the exact same.
But probably very different views on it. Like, I used to hate it at some point. At a point, I like not
you
nothing like
uh-huh.
like as a young kid, I don't want to go.
But we're inverted as well.
Exactly.
I used to really like it when I was a kid, and then as I got older, I was like, no. Screw
and
this,
I didn't want it at the time, and now I really love it.
You do a 5K now?
Like what? I'd run a 5K. It won't be very fast.
No, but hey, you would compete in a road running 5K?
Yeah, sure.
No,
I want to try stuff. Like even
we'll
now that I'm training hurdles, training some long jump.
We need to do. I think it'll be fun.
Yes.
We need to do me against you in 400 hurdles.
Okay.
Me against you.
I'll beat your ass.
In discus. You'll kick my ass.
Yes, I will.
400 hurdles. 1-5.
Yeah.
Discus. And high jump.
Sure. I've never tried discus.
A quadrathlon.
The rest I'll beat your ass.
You serious?
Yes.
That's how we see. Sanarao. Alright. Yeah.
Shake on it.
Shake it there. Yes, it's gonna be our first
Stay tuned.
Musa event. Our first Musa event is gonna be Luca Aras versus Nicolai Bonello. President versus vice president. For the role of president.
Winner takes it all.
Winner owns Musa.
How do you now that we mentioned like our dads, both our dads are like quite in athletics, very in athletics.
They are athletics.
How do you like see? I'm curious how the experience is. Like he coached your dad used to coach you as well, and same. Like I train with Jivko of course, but certain stuff I do with my dad as well. How do you see that?
I did want to talk to you about this.
You didn't?
I did.
Okay.
I did. No, I didn't.
I didn't. No.
I don't want to talk to you about this at all. I think my experience with my dad is I have been coached in some way, shape, or form by my dad in sport from the age of 8. Let's say 8. I always did something on the side. Football, I did handball, I did tennis at a point, I always had something that was other than athletics. Yes. But in the main season of athletics, it was always athletics. Until 2018, he was my only coach. Then I went to Jivko to work on jumps. and I tore my hamstring at SAC. So, and then I had that break, but it was the first time I was exposed to a coach who
you have a different relationship, I guess, with no?
who I got to have a different relationship with, and who presented himself in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad, till I was about 17, we used to fight a lot about
in general or at athletics. Or or a bit mixture of both.
In general, but it was almost always stemming from something that happened at athletics.
Because then you see them so much.
I remember
at some
once
point.
we had a big fight in front of a lot of people. He was criticizing me about my technique or something, and I just went like, "Fuck off! I don't want to hear it." Like, and he started really yelling at me and blasting me, and some I deserved it because I was being a little shit. But
you're comfortable to do it because the relationship is different.
Yes, because he's my dad.
Yes, I mean I get it. That's why.
But again, even at that time, it was also sometimes more that he was my coach. Really, because even he has work and I have school. The time that I get to really hang out with him was not at home. It was at track. So it's not like he's being my dad. He's being my coach. He used to piss me off a lot, and we used to fight all the time. It used to be over hurdles, over long jump, and hurdles and long jump were the bane of my existence. I hated training them. In the beginning, I hated training long jump because I was always really stressed and I wanted to get it right first try. There was no other option. Once I fuck it up, that's it. I don't want to hear my dad talk about it anymore. And we used to fight a lot.
And then you go home.
Then I go home
and he's still there.
And we keep
that's the difference.
That's the thing. Then because he's still there, and we keep talking about it because it's and not over.
Even for me, like I go home. The same, like the most that I see my dad is at athletics. So then you go home and it's still,
what I really want to know. You've been in gymnastics more than you've been in athletics tenfold. But through those years when you were in gymnastics, what was the relationship like when you were training gymnastics and he's training athletics, and you have nothing to do with athletics at all?
It's just, like he sees it as from the sports perspective. Like it's not a coach, obviously, but at the time it's more like he has his views on, like, I wasn't training at gymnastics competitively. I think that's the main difference.
Yeah.
But I remember at some point I used to train like twice a week. It's like year 4, we really 3 times a week gymnastics. Whoa, so much training. Like to me it's a lot. I'm always at I used to train every day. He's like, So he wanted me, I'm sure he always wanted me to get to that level. That's and he always wanted me in track. He never pushed it to Fieri.
Hello.
No
worry. I thought so. Who was it, Kevin?
Victor, I think.
It was who?
Victor, I think it was.
Yes. No, I don't have that key for that room.
The camera. So my dad didn't. So my dad.
I should have locked it maybe. The key. Man, I have the key. How do you think I opened? No, I took the key. I stole it.
They're fighting, guys. So I'm sure he always wanted me in athletics,
Yes.
But he never pushed it at all.
Okay.
Never, except at the beginning.
Yes.
Which not pushing it, but he'd want me to come. Like he's there, sports. I get it for sure, 100%. But then when I'm like, okay, maybe I try pole vault. It's like, I managed, But then the relationship changed for sure. Well, after starting athletics, relationship changed for sure. Even though at first I was training more with Jivko, like I didn't have as many sessions with him. Like even though I started doing pole vault.
You think your relationship got better?
Yes,
father son
for sure, for sure.
I think my
I see him way more.
Yes,
like the time that he still spends the same time at the track, So before maybe I used to see him less at home.
Yeah.
Now the time that I don't see him at home, I see him at the track.
That's a good.
But it also makes it a bit harder, as in like obviously being your dad for me. Zombie,
Yes.
I'm gonna get pissed.
I know.
And għandi iktar konfidenza,
With him.
so especially sometimes now even he's starting to understand more pole vault.
Yeah.
Which at first session, I always say this first session I did with my dad. With like a stick, we found it could be it was a pole. It took some big pole from Jivko's time.
Good. Okay.
In the sand.
Yeah.
Just dragging and try high.
I remember.
I
remember that.
And then eventually went to the pole vault mat. And again, so he understands something in pole vault, and he was in the discus cage. There was not the one that there's now. It was on the other side.
Yeah.
And Gens calls him. He's like, "Isma Mario, he's going on the other side of the pole, from the other side of the track." He saw me like,
how funny.
you're meant to come this side so you can control. I'm like blocking my hand, and my dad's like, "Yes, it's good, very good,
It's good. Yeah.
very good." And Gens from the other side, he's on this.
No, doggy, no.
So since then he understands a bit more,
I see, okay.
But as such, the more he understands, the more it pisses me off. The more he can piss me off because he can give
put
more
his
input into it,
Yeah.
which of course I understand. Like,
Yeah.
ikollu raġun, like 100% of the time.
The
The thing that he doesn't, the only thing that might be different is mentally, like pole vault is 100% mental, 100% physical.
Yeah.
It's not 50, it's 100%. Like, and at this point, physically, currently, I am quite decent, I think.
Yeah.
Like, so currently it's more mental at this point in the season, I mean.
Yeah.
That you're talking about now.
Yes.
My problem is more mental at this point. So Tommy's like, you just have to do this. I'm like, yes, but I
know,
can't.
but my brain, Dad. Okay.
Like, you have a whole session just running through. Like, I try jump and nothing. Just keep running. Like, what can I do? And it's more the lack of experience in the sport, in the event that's the different. Because at this point, like, even we have a book which big book, very much based on what Vitaly thinks. For example, Vitaly, I'd say best pole vault coach of all time, in my opinion. In my eyes, that's how it is. And like, we're working with him somehow, which is amazing, I think. And he's giving us this feedback, like when we go to training camps, obviously, And he told us, all right, this book, if you have any problem, this book is very much how I think. So now I see it like a few days ago. He took it from my room. I see it on his desk with a tissue in between because he's reading through it. So, but mentally, all right, what it should look like.
Yeah.
But mentally is different. Like, you have to experience it, I think, to understand. Like, I don't know. You're running with
the pole.
With the pole, and
I mean, the first time I touched the pole was when I started doing it with Jivko. I mean, I had my dad is able to coach absolutely anything, but he told me pole vault. Don't ask me anything. I have no idea. He knows the event. He knows what to do, but his coaching eye for it is not as good.
You haven't seen it as much.
No. So I mean, me, what I can say really about my dad is, towards the end of my career, wasn't with him. It was with Jivko. My dad was there, but he wasn't really my coach. He was just watching me and being happy that I'm still doing something.
Yeah.
Because when I stopped hurdles, to him it was a big deal when I stopped, because I came to a point where physically I couldn't handle it anymore, and mentally I just couldn't give a shit either. I mean, it was part I don't give a shit, and part like I'm not happy in the sport anymore. And a big factor as well was I felt like I could contribute more to the sport with my coaching,
with your athletes,
with my athletes, over my performances, because I can't say that I've ever had a performance where I felt like it was top. I like with point system, I always averaged like say 800. It's nothing. I had, I think, a 900 once, but it's nothing.
But it's
nothing.
You want more.
Yeah, you want more. It's not only you want more; it's you need more to stay relevant.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, I
and
mean,
you're putting in so much training, and you're like, where are the results? I want the results.
Exactly. I want the results, and my dad wants the results, and
then pressure comes on.
Then pressure.
Everyone wants.
I always tell my athletes my best results always came from when I felt no pressure and when I said, you know what, I have absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I look like an idiot either way. But mentioning it now, there was a big factor that stopped me. That was like, I'm stopping. I had a race, 300, my first 300 of the year, and I came in last. I ran like a 42, but not only that, they stopped the time before I finished the race because they forgot I was running, and that was like, it was really hard on my dad, and after that, and he told me, I was like, really, and then I think next week I told him I'm stopping because I realized that my level is not anywhere near what it should be to be relevant in the sport. And I think my relationship with my dad improved then because
since stopping.
So. By a mile. Big time. Even because of my age.
But you still have the same relationship with him since you're still coaching, I guess.
But it is different.
It is still different. Based around athletics. It's no longer just athletics.
It's no longer coach-athlete.
Yes. The dynamic.
It's coach, and comparing our philosophies and what we think.
Yes.
And we do have disagreements on the way we coach, which I think is a very healthy thing for
sure.
For us because, you know, me and Fed always joke that I kind of have the same mannerisms as him. And
at some point today you said something like, exactly the same.
And Mario and Jeremy were training. And I shouted, Mario. And Mario goes, Željko. Oh, it's you. I knew Željko was abroad. You sound exactly like him. And even Jeremy thought that it was my dad. You know, so even I sound like him. I say things like him. So, but we don't always think the same about the way we coach and stuff, which is a good thing.
I think disagreements are very healthy, like especially
yes.
like even for me with with my dad as a coach dynamic, disagreements I think are still very, very healthy.
Yes.
With a coach, like you shouldn't think exactly like how he thinks. So you like
the coach would want you to.
But like if I'm feeling something, I'm like, Isma, I don't think this, you know. To be able to have this back and forth and not be so rigid. Today this is the session. We do this because and that's it. It's like, you know, this is the Bible and we work with it. I think having an element of humanity in it is important.
I mean, we did it in the course recently in the level 2. We have different types of sessions. You have speed endurance, strength, plyometrics, blah blah blah, and you have something called Joker. Joker is you analyze your athlete, you see how they're feeling, are they sick, were they injured, did they have a good weekend, are they tired, are they hungover, you know, and you adapt the training to what they are able to do. And my dad has a funny story about when he was an athlete. They used to go to training camps in the mountains and go on hill training. And they used to have triple sessions. And they used to go in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening and stuff. And my dad told the coach, if you want me to train, if you want me to come to this training camp, you have to... I'm hungry. You have to go pee. He told his coach, if you want me to come to the training camp, you have to let me sleep in the morning. I'm not training in the morning. No way. And he did it once. He trained in the morning. And the coach instantly regretted it. My dad was sluggish. He was slow. He was not in it at all. Yeah. And finished after 10 minutes.
All the athletes are different though.
Yes, every athlete is different. I deal with a lot of different things when I coach. I have A to Z, problem to problem. I have to adapt a lot, especially because they're kids. I have to adapt even more. So as I was saying recently, my disagreement with my dad was whether or not they should have trained yesterday.
So.
Because this weekend they have nationals.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if it was a senior, you say, okay, day before nationals, it's a big day. You rest, sleep, relax, whatever. Sometimes you do a shakeout. You go for an hour, half an hour.
Warm up.
A little warm up, stride, stretch, and go.
Move, yeah.
And I told him, no, I don't want them to not train. Because all year before a competition, they've trained. And I don't want them to be sluggish after 2 days. Because with kids, after 2 days of doing nothing, it's enough to do something wrong in their preparation. So I told them, guys, yesterday, and so on, whatever, on Friday come, and we have a short session. We just try to make sure that everyone's ready, mentally ready, whatever. And then I give them a talk at the end. To tell them, like, listen, tomorrow is a big day. It's an important day. You shouldn't devalue the day. Because it is the most important day of the year.
Yes.
But you also have to go in thinking that you have absolutely nothing to prove.
For sure.
And you don't need to prove anything to anyone. I only have one athlete who is in the national team. And she's very good. But this year, she's still building up to what is her best.
It's development.
Yes, it's the development. It's
how
the year goes.
Are they? How old are they? Most of them.
Most of them are 14.
14.
Most of them are 14.
I feel currently, even at my point, I haven't been doing athletics but I'm older than them. I'm like 5 years older than them.
Yeah.
I am still development.
Yes.
It's not about performance at this point.
Definitely.
It's yes, you want the performance.
Yes.
But I want to develop. Like, I don't want to do the result now and then just
that's the thing.
It's not about now.
That's
it's like look a bit forward.
That's the thing.
Same thing with my dad. Competitions. I disagree with him about this exact thing. Not about Friday, but after the competition. He's like, Saturday,
to train after.
He wants me to train after.
Blah.
And I'm like, I get, because like competition at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's true. You train Thursday. You train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday you rest because Saturday is the competition.
Exactly.
And then Saturday in pole vault, for example, you warm up and you have 3 jumps, 4 jumps. It depends on the day. Like at least 3 jumps, but sometimes maximum you'll have maybe 9, 10 jumps
in
the competition.
Yes.
So it's not much. And then Sunday
is
a rest day. So you'll have 4 days doing nothing.
Really
3 days doing nothing.
Much.
So he wants to train after.
Point.
Well, I see. Yes, and he is seeing it as we need to keep developing. It's not about now. Like this competition, you do it. You do it now. You do it in 3 years. Not about the result, but if now I see your technique is better and not you're just jumping it like it shows. It just somehow you cleared it, but it's not about that. So obviously, I don't want to train after, for example, Saturday, just because mentally, as I said before, it's different. It's hard mentally.
You can't jump anymore at that point.
But not even jumping. Like even just running, for example, training after the competition, doing some run. Like mentally, I want to prepare for the competition, which is against what he's saying about this development. So I think there's in between.
I felt. Tara Mario. Contrasting ideas.
Yes.
Mala, let's take a 2-minute break.
Sure.
Let's take a 2-minute break. I'll check the audio as well.
Sure.
And we'll continue in like 2 minutes.
Go into now.
Let's go with the flow.
Whole vault.
Play the video.
Alright. Let's go with the flow.
Back over.
We're not back.
We're not back.
Soon back.
Now we're back.
And we're back.
Okay, we're talking about your dad making you train after a competition.
Yes.
Crazy. My dad does that, but only in preseason. Only in preseason when they do like one stupid race. Like, for example, I don't know, Bedzina does a 300 or just a 60 per example, and go and do something in the gym. Go gym, core, because Pre-season is like testing. It's just
Yes.
just a
No,
test,
I see the
see where
benefit of
everyone
it
is.
for sure.
No, there
It's-
is some form of benefit, but you know what else there has benefit?
What?
Doing a gym session before a race.
Competition. Like what? Right.
Yes, straight
Activation.
gym, explosive gym, like 2 reps
To activate, I assume.
to
No?
activate, bro. It holds results.
So-
It holds. It's the same principle as when you do sledge runs
Yes.
and you go and run without the sledge.
Yes. So you feel light. Like you never felt faster in my life.
And we do it the same in handball.
Mm-hmm.
We have an 800-gram ball, medicine ball, that's the size of a handball, and you shoot it against the wall or you pass to each other, use both hands, and then you get the normal ball, and it's like you're throwing nothing.
Handball players, shift them to athletics and javelin. They'd be amazing.
Brother, not only that, shift Bradley and his brother into handball,
as
man.
well. It goes the other way.
Jesus Christ, monster.
But I've seen some of the handball players because sometimes we go training at
Yeah.
there. So I've seen, and some of them when you like,
There are
come,
some
they'd
they
like-
shoot. They have power. Huh? They have
Be
power. They
amazing.
have power. Javelin. They really have power.
And I think these events that are lacking, it's very easy to encourage people to
encourage
come.
people to come and
Because
try.
like,
You know what as well. That's one thing. Like in their off season.
and I think it's very beneficial. It would be very beneficial to
You
them
say,
as well in
why
handball.
why not, man? Why not tell them, Isma? Listen, you're really good. Like, just come and come and try. Oh, sorry, my phone.
Very professional.
It buzzed. What is bothering me? So,
And I think if they come train, for example,
Oh,
some
man.
javelin technique,
no.
direct correlated to handball.
Yes.
So when they go back to
very
handball-
close, very close.
It would benefit them in
What?
handball as well.
In handball, there was a time when there used to be a rugby team that used to go and play handball, like when the
Uh-huh.
rugby season's over. I don't get why they don't do the same. Like, we could do something to say, like, listen, make an agreement between the associations, and you say
We'll just come try.
because handball season ends
Early.
next week.
Ah.
1st June is the final of the KO for seniors, and that's it
Mhm.
till October.
True.
They train from July till September, pure prep.
Mhm.
Even we don't have that long of a prep.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
start our prep in September.
Yes, true.
September till November we're prepping.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, fine, we have 2 months, but our September is like all buzz. You just go and
You
run and
just-
just do
it's just
something social and die
Cardio
while you're
as
at
that
it.
die.
You know, so. And even in November, we end up having one competition. Heck. Do we have the Joe Gerarda Memorial?
Yeah,
early
there's that,
December?
and then maybe, yeah, then January your competition starts
As that,
mostly.
and then January comes.
Mhm.
But
I mean, winter season for some is easier. It's like I competed, but I start late.
as that.
Like winter season, I usually started a bit later. I need
Mhm.
more build up,
Mhm.
especially pole vault. Pole vault is a bit hard to get back into it.
Oh,
I don't
I'm
like-
getting the same injuries in handball that I
So-
used to get from pole vault. My elbow is finished.
I really don't like
It's finished. Huh?
like off season for pole vault because
Really?
then you come back
Uh.
and you're like, I have to start again.
Yeah,
Because you spend the whole season building up to, okay, longer run up, bigger poles, getting comfortable on these bigger poles. Like
Mhm.
this season I felt it. Like even though my season finished really late. Like I had a competition end of August.
Lahwa.
So then September was my off season.
Hanina.
End of September I started again. So then I had like 3 weeks off season. You come back, you don't start pole vault again, like at the beginning,
Obviously.
of course. And you start, you're like, oh, I used to jump with this pole from 10 steps.
Keith.
No, I need 14 now for this, you know?
Hanina.
And that's what I like.
Yeah.
Today, funny, like literally this morning I had a
Mhm.
session.
Mm.
And like I was a bit tired this week, so I said easy pole vault session. 10 steps, soft pole. This pole at the beginning of the season, 14 steps I was jumping with it. Now I'm on to 10, and it's easy, like comfortable.
That's that.
So I'm comfortable with this pole, just getting back into it, because this week was a bit easier on training. So 10 steps only. And not the best jumps, like decent, but getting back into it, even just a week, so like you feel it a bit.
Yeah.
So getting back into it. And then I'm like, this one's gonna be good. Watch it, guys, watch it. This one's gonna be a good jump. I go, the pole. Put this down. The pole goes here. Now this pole usually easy jump, like passes so easily. Comes here, it stops, and it shoots you right back. And then I go to take the pole out. Like you roll out of it. You hurt your head a bit, but it's fine. And I get the pole, and sometimes, because we have the plug, so the pole doesn't get damaged, I'm like, sometimes it falls off. I go, and I see this blue plug, usually it's white. I grab the wrong pole.
Man. What?
I tried to jump on my usual 16 steps, on 10 steps by mistake, I didn't know. So I grabbed the very top of the pole that I usually jump from 16 steps, which obviously get way more speed.
What's that?
I tried to jump from 10 steps.
Oh my god, Nick. And how many?
By mistake.
And what was the Libri?
It's like flex. It's like three flex numbers difference, which is quite a bit. Plus it's longer, and I grabbed it from the top.
What the hell? How? This is lack of experience. Lack of experience, guys.
And I almost did this in GSSC.
As if.
In GSSC, like everyone, like I'm trying to focus. I'm like, okay, and everyone has their poles on the rack. I grab the pole. You have the timer, 1 minute. Okay, I'm gonna go. This is not my pole. Okay, I go back. Like, you can jump with it if you want, the guys.
Oh my god.
Guy, you can jump with it if you want. No, I put it back. I get my pole. 30 seconds left. Okay, let's go.
Man. Just stress.
But I realized back
what
then.
stress you put on yourself,
today,
my friend.
And that's one of the things. I do not know how to handle stress in competitions yet. Because I'm always competing against myself.
Against yourself.
It's just me against my personal best. So I managed to, like, when we're here, I managed to just focus. Okay, it's a normal training session. I'm just gonna jump, When I have lots of other people, I'm not used to it yet. So GSSC, and everything's building out lots of pressure on GSSC. Obviously, last year, it's like I didn't perform badly, like 440, which was close. 450. Yeah, 445 was my PB last year.
Lolo.
Which it's good, but the jump.
Bro, you went up 40 centimeters in a year.
Already, yes. And last season, that's something that's why this year I want to work more on development. Because last year, okay, we looked GSSC, the big, so I want to perform. I jumped. PB was 35 at the beginning of the year, 50 at the end.
That's that.
15 centimeters, nothing. This year already, like...
Already you went up 40.
Already 35, 40 soon.
There we go.
And like, I want to keep developing.
There
and
we go.
the technique last year, if comparison between last year and this year is so different.
I haven't seen you train in a long time.
Last year GSSC.
Yeah.
I go here.
Boing. Yeah.
So I get over the bar by so much.
Yeah.
But my legs will hit
There's
it,
no forward.
So the 440, I jumped it by so much, but I couldn't get higher.
Yeah.
So the potential is there, but I need to work more on technique. So I can't just keep performing. I need to continue the development, which this year I think has already happened quite a bit.
Big difference. So
now this year, bigger poles. We have some 475 poles now, which I am yet to try.
Madoffi 175.
475.
What do you mean 475?
4 meters 75.
They're 4 meters.
Yeah.
They're almost 5 meters long.
Yeah. So till now only 460. So
them
with bigger
big poles.
Poles.
Them just big poles. طيب. Mela Nick, I have work to do. Athletes to coach.
Athletes to run and perform.
As that. Shit.
That's the nerves, guys.
Oh, I'm really nervous. I choked.
For his athletes.
Yeah. I hope they don't choke. Get it? Nick, good luck for the rest of the year. Nick, good luck.
Thanks, Ross. Thank you for having me. Really love
Thanks
talking
for
to you.
coming. Viva Musa.
And see you back in pole vault in a few.
See you on the next episode.